Today we are making small batch chicken noodle soup. It's probably the most requested recipe in small batch form that I have had. It is the perfect solution to a winter's cold or a cold winter's night, and it's the perfect amount for 2 people. Hi, I'm Leanne from YourHomeBasedMom.com. Join me in the kitchen as we make small batch recipes with big taste. You know, it snowed a little bit in Portland last night and it's gonna be really cold all week, so I am so in the mood for chicken noodle soup tonight for dinner. So we're gonna make some, all right? So we're gonna start by, I've got 2 tablespoons of butter in my pan here, and we're just melting that butter. And then we're gonna take 2 tablespoons of flour and add that in and stir to create a thickener or a roux for our soup. Go ahead and whisk it around and let it cook for just a minute. All right, and then we're just gonna go ahead and we are just gonna set that aside while we mix up the rest of the soup. All right, I have my soup pan warming up here. We are going to add in a tablespoon of olive oil. You could use a canola oil, a vegetable oil, an avocado oil if you prefer. And we are going to just saute our vegetables. I'm adding in a half of a cup of chopped onion. I've got 1 stalk, whoops, and a little piece on the floor, 1 stalk of celery. And then about 2 medium carrots that I've peeled and diced up. I'm also going to add in about a clove of fresh garlic. And then we'll go ahead and cook that together until the veggies get to be about fork tender. Yeah, it's smelling really good. So to our pot here, we're going to add in our chicken broth, and I am using 2 cups of chicken broth. We're going to add in some seasoning, and you can get creative here with whatever you want to use. I'm using thyme and oregano, and I'm using about, I'd say, 1/4 teaspoon of each one. You could throw in some basil, you could throw in some Italian seasoning, whatever you like. And I've got about a half a tablespoon here of dried parsley. If you had fresh parsley, go ahead and use that. And then we're going to add in our chicken. I'm using about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of chicken. And my chicken is pre-cooked. I'm going to link to down below some of my favorite ways to make shredded chicken. I have a way to do it in the slow cooker, in the Instapot, and in the microwave. And for this small batch soup, probably my favorite way is to use the microwave, unless you want to make up a big batch of shredded chicken and throw most of it in the freezer and pull it out as you need it. And then we're going to add in our noodles. Now, I have pre-cooked my noodles. If you want to cook your noodles in the soup, I would use more chicken broth, a half a cup to 1 cup more of chicken broth, because those noodles are going to absorb quite a bit of that liquid as they cook. But I cooked mine ahead of time, and this was 3/4 cup of dry noodles, and I'm just using an egg noodle. So we're going to pop that in. We'll heat it all through, and we're going to have a delicious pot of chicken noodle soup. I'm going to actually bring this soup up to a boil, and then we're going to add, almost forgot to add back in our roux that we made, our thickener. Now, if you don't want to thicken the soup, you don't have to, but I want to make it a little bit thicker, and so I'm just going to add my roux in and then let this come to a boil and then simmer for a few minutes to let it thicken up. The other thing, if you prefer a creamier chicken noodle soup, you could add in some cream, some milk, some half and half. Even some coconut milk would be delicious, or if you're dairy free, you could go ahead and add in almond milk, whatever you prefer. So we're gonna let this just, like I say, come up to a boil, and then I'm gonna turn it right down, let it simmer, thicken up, and it's gonna be ready for dinner. All right, our soup is ready to serve. It's a perfect amount for about 2 servings per person. So you've got enough for dinner and then a little bit left over for lunch. I love to serve this with my small batch French bread, which you can find down there, and my small batch cornbread. Make sure you check out both of those recipes. It is delicious, perfect for whatever ails you, and I'll see you in the next video.